Greetings everyone. In this video I'm going to talk about how to determine where vortexes are on your property or even another property.
Greetings! This infinite source truth is made possible by the generous contributions and support of viewers like you. Please consider making a contribution now. Thank you.
We have a floor plan. Now you could simply hand draw out a sketch for your rooms, and if you had a two-story or more building, then you would have one of these for each floor. And first off, you would take your pendulum and you would ask your source self if there were any energy vortexes on the property. More than likely you will get a yes. And we're going to concentrate on the ones that are within the building structure itself. So, if this is the ground floor or the only floor, you would ask, are there any energy vortexes on this floor? You would ask your source self, and if it said yes, then you would go and you would say, okay, is there more than one? And you would get a number of vortexes. You would find out what the number of vortexes were that were on that floor. And then after you have the number, then you're going to set out to find out where these energy vortexes are and whether they're positive vortexes or negative vortexes. Now, you would go, you can do this a lot of different ways. You can go room by room to ask if there's an energy vortex in there. You could also say, are there any energy vortexes on this side? Yes. You know, are there any energy vortexes on this side? Yes. And in that case, then you have to go individually, room by room, to discover which rooms actually have energy vortexes. Then, once you discover how many energy vortexes are in which rooms, you would then actually, most beneficial would be if you were in the house to take your pendulum and use your pendulum to swing to get the direction for you to go, or whichever way. But with the floor plan, you can use your pendulum to give you a direction, and so this is swinging this way. So I would put a line on my drawn thing along the line, and then I would ask it to show me the crossing point. Now you will see that there's a crossing point there, and so this right here is where my energy vortex is in that room. Now, what you'd want to find out is if that's a positive or a negative energy vortex. And then you would actually determine, you can just put a positive or a negative or a spiral, depending on which way is positive or negative. So, there's one there. You would continue to go room by room, asking if there's an energy vortex there. Asking, asking, asking. Now you might recognize, if this is your own property, your own house, that it could be where you know a lot of arguments happen, if it's a negative energy vortex or low frequency behaviors are taking place. And you would go through, and using your intent, if you have an unlocked script and you're high enough frequency, you can clear all energy vortexes from the floor. Now, just because you have an energy vortex on this floor does not necessarily mean that the floor above it will have the same energy vortex. Each floor would stand on its own unless this is a very large vortex. In that case, it could span more than one floor. So the next floor, you would have to kind of draw out the rooms, and you would do the same procedure for the second floor and the third floor, fourth floor, if that's what you were dealing with. Now, there can be energy vortexes on the grounds of the property also, outside. Those can be found either by having a lot drawing with positions of buildings, or you can, if you were actually on the property, you can use the dowsing rods, which I described how to use in a previous video, to direct you to those vortexes outside the house and on the property. Again, you can do this without even being on the property. You could do this to get a reading on another property that is not your own. And you could potentially, if you have a strong enough tent and high enough frequency, you could clear someone's property who is far away from you. The dowsing rods could also be used in the house to get directionals, okay? To get directionals, if you were in the rooms, to get directionals to take you to those places. Now, what's interesting is if you are actually on the property, in the property itself, test yourself and see if you can feel or sense those energy vortexes. If you have the ability to tap into your awareness and you can feel those force fields, you can feel those energy vortexes as you are approaching them and when you're standing in the middle of them. So these are all things that you can use to heighten your awareness and your abilities as a source player. No real special equipment is needed, and like I said, it doesn't have to be a printed out floor plan. You could simply use your pen to scratch out rooms on a sheet to go through to represent, or you could physically be in the house and not even have a floor plan and simply walk around room by room. Is there an energy vortex in this room? Is there an energy vortex in this room? Are there any energy vortexes in the hallways, in any of the bathrooms, closets, whatever? And you can, using your powerful intent, seal the energy vortexes. Now, this can work in your workplace, this can work in your home, this could work in your parents' home or your friend's house. You do not have to actually be on the premises. If you do a rough draft of the building, or that person who is wanting you to do a clearing or a reading, if they furnished you a copy of the floor plan, then you could go through and determine where the energy vortexes are, where the negative energy lines are, and you could close them, remove them, seal them. It's actually a pretty simple procedure, and what is best is if you can learn to sense and feel the energy vortexes that are around you as you become more aware and tap into your internal knowing. It's a simple procedure. Give it a try and see if you don't notice a difference in your dwelling place and you notice changes in people as negative energy vortexes are closed. Now, if you find the information that I share in these videos helpful to you and beneficial, then say thank you via a gift, via PayPal. The link is in the description box below. Abundance, health, and prosperity to you.